This here is a little hydroplane made out of half-inch square wooden dowels and foam. To get it working this well took a lot of tweaking and redesigning. The trial and error story starts here with 2-inch thick pieces of insulation foam I used for the original pair of floats. I glued them onto a wooden dowel, then glued that dowel to another dowel like this. There is a square of foam in the middle to stiffen the joint. The floats are tilted up at about a 35-degree angle. I then built a rudder out of 6mm Depron and a rear float under that. It is also inch-thick insulation foam just like the main floats. So far, it looks like this. I added some more foam under the center stick for extra flotation. I then heated up a piece of square towel rod and melted a hole in the foam by the T-joint. This held the motor mount post. The motor was tilted up at a fairly steep angle to counter out any downward leverage from its raised mounting location. I then installed the rudder servo and the rest of the electronics. The ESC and receiver are soaked in epoxy for waterproofing. The 1300 mAh 3-cell battery attaches behind the ESC and receiver. I coated all the wood in acrylic paint to seal it a little bit better. I put a small horizontal stabilizer in the rear for some extra flotation, and I installed a spoiler on the vertical stabilizer to hold the tail down. Here's how it sits in the water. The first tests proved it really likes to do nose wheelies. It would also flip over a lot, but luckily the motor would still run a little underwater, so I was able to drive it home. Also, I think the angle of the floats was too steep and this caused it to bounce a lot. I then cut the floats shorter and beveled the bottom so that they had a more mellow angle that was in contact with the water. The foam on the back is for added buoyancy. I added larger spoilers to push the tail down harder. Unfortunately, there was no video of it driving like this, but it still flipped over a lot. Here I was pushing it back to shore with my flying sled. I then built these new floats out of 2 layers of insulation foam and 6mm Depron. They worked a lot better, but here the rudder broke and I didn't get any other footage of it. Also, it would barely turn, so I installed a spoon as the rear skid hoping it would slide over the water better. It didn't help at all, so I then made the rear skid out of a flat piece of Depron. It worked really well, but it would still barely turn. Oh wow, it still does not turn very well at all. Woo, that thing goes fast. See if it turns. Woo! Wow, that turned. Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh, look at that. Wow, that's a bummer. Next, I made the rudder huge with a bunch of pieces of scrap foam. This is the final configuration and it works really well, although the turning radius is still pretty big. Oh yeah, it turns a lot better. Now Lawson's gonna give it a shot. Do a left-hand turn now. Uh-oh. He flipped it over. Now they're both stuck. Try and keep it going faster so you don't sink. Okay, now when you're turning, keep the motor on. Are you turning full? Now once you're coming towards us, go full throttle. Full throttle. Full throttle again. Nice.
That duck doesn't even care. Can't even tell what direction I'm going in.
Come towards us really fast. Wow, it's bouncing. Alright, cool, and that's it. Here are the final dimensions if you want to build your own. Thanks for watching, bye.